Lena had always lived in the same sleepy town her whole life, a place where everyone knew everyone, where the trees along the streets seemed to whisper secrets, and the air felt heavier than it should. It was quiet, peaceful, and maybe that was what made her feel restless. She longed for something more, something different, something that would pull her out of this mundane life. She wanted to feel like her life had meaning, like there was more to her than the ordinary woman she had become. One cold evening in late fall, just after midnight, as Lena lay in her bed staring at the dark ceiling, her phone buzzed loudly beside her. She groggily reached out for it, her mind still foggy with sleep. The message came from Ava, her mom's best friend. Lena always thought of Ava as a mysterious figure. She wasn't quite old, but there was something ancient about her, a certain wisdom in her eyes that made Lena feel like Ava knew more than she was letting on. The message was simple but strange. Look at the photo I'm sending you. It's important. Don't ignore it. Your life will change after this. Lena blinked, confused. It was the middle of the night and Ava's words didn't make much sense. But still, something about the message stirred something in her. She couldn't explain why, but she felt like she needed to see it. She opened the attached photo. It was an old, faded picture of a woman. The woman in the photo had long, dark hair and a strong, graceful presence. She was standing in front of a large mansion, one Lena had never seen before. The photo was taken in black and white, though the edges of the picture were yellowed and curling at the corners. The woman's face was almost identical to Lena's. It was as if Lena was staring at herself, but from another time. Lena's heart began to race. She stared at the photo for what felt like an eternity. The mansion in the background was grand but seemed ancient, as if time itself had forgotten about it. Lena didn't recognize the place, and yet something about it tugged at her memory. "Why did she send this to me?" Lena whispered to herself, but there was no answer. She felt unsettled, but she also couldn't shake the strange sense of familiarity that the photo brought her. She immediately texted her mother. "Mom, what's this about? Ava just sent me a picture of a woman who looks exactly like me in front of some huge mansion. Do you know anything about this?" She waited for a response. Seconds turned into minutes, but nothing came. Her mother was always fast with replies. This delay felt odd. Lena lay back in bed, but sleep wouldn't come. The image of the woman haunted her mind, pulling her thoughts in every direction. Was it a coincidence? How could someone look so much like her? And why would Ava send it now? Finally, her phone buzzed. It was her mother's response. "Ignore the message, Lena. Please, it's nothing to worry about. I'll talk to you in the morning." Lena stared at the message, but the words did nothing to ease her unease. Why was her mother being so secretive? She'd never been one to avoid questions, but she was also curious. More than she'd ever been before. The next morning, Lena didn't sleep well. She felt the weight of the photo still hanging over her, and every time she closed her eyes, she saw that woman's face. She couldn't shake the nagging feeling that there was something important behind all of it. When she saw her mom in the kitchen that morning, making coffee as usual, Lena felt a strange hesitation. She wanted to ask more, but her mother had that look on her face, the one that meant she didn't want to talk about something. Lena sat down at the table, her eyes on her mother as she stirred the coffee. "Mom," she began carefully, "why did Eva send me that photo last night? It looks just like me. Is there something I should know?" Her mother paused, the spoon in her hand freezing mid-stir. For a brief moment, Lena thought her mom wouldn't answer. But then, her mother set the spoon down and turned to face her. "Lena," her mother said, her voice soft, "there's nothing to worry about. Just forget about the photo, okay? I'll talk to Eva. It's nothing, really." But Lena could see it, the unease in her mother's eyes. The words felt hollow, and the silence that followed seemed too heavy to ignore. Lena didn't push further. She wasn't sure why, but she knew there was something her mother wasn't saying, something important. That night, after dinner, Lena found herself staring out of her bedroom window, lost in thought. The wind outside rustled the branches of the trees, and for a moment everything felt so still. Yet, she couldn't let go of the feeling that her life was about to change in ways she didn't understand. Then, her phone buzzed again. It was Eva. Meet me at the old mansion tomorrow. There are things you need to know. The photo is just the beginning. Lena's breath caught in her chest. There it was again, the same mansion in the photo. The message sent a chill down her spine, but she couldn't bring herself to ignore it. Ava was not someone who would joke around, and if she was telling Lena to meet her, then something was happening. Something she had to be a part of. The next morning, Lena found herself standing in front of the gates of the mansion, which loomed in the distance like a shadow from another time. The house was large and imposing, with ivy crawling up the stone walls, and the windows were dark as if they hadn't been opened in years. The place felt like it had been abandoned, but at the same time, it felt alive with a strange energy, an energy that called to Lena, even though it made her uneasy. Eva was waiting for her by the gate, standing in the shadow of the old structure. Her eyes were intense, as if she was trying to say something without words. Lena stepped forward. "You wanted me to come?" Lena said, her voice shaky. "What is this place? Why did you send me that photo?" Ava looked at her, a look of both sadness and understanding in her eyes. "Lena," she said softly, "there's so much about your past that you don't know. Your mother has kept you safe, kept you from the truth, but now it's time. You need to know who you really are. This house, it holds the answers you've been searching for." "It always has." Lena's heart began to race. Every word Eva spoke felt like a key turning in a lock she didn't even know existed. Eva turned toward the mansion. "Come, there's so much more to explain. And once you enter, there's no turning back." Lena stood frozen for a moment, the weight of everything suddenly pressing down on her. But there was no turning back. Not now. With a deep breath, Lena stepped forward, crossing the threshold of the mansion and into a world she never imagined. Lena stood at the edge of the old mansion's front door, her heart pounding in her chest. The eerie silence surrounding the house felt like a heavy weight pressing down on her. Ava had led her through the crumbling gates, but now Lena wasn't sure if she should step forward. Everything about this place seemed strange, as if it had existed long before Lena was born. And yet here she was, about to walk into the unknown. Eva's eyes were fixed on her, and there was a quiet intensity in her gaze. It was as if she had been waiting for this moment for a long time. "You don't have to go in," she said softly, as if reading Lena's mind. "But the truth is inside, and you need to see it for yourself." Lena hesitated, her mind racing. Her mother had always kept her distant from the past, avoiding questions, changing the subject whenever Lena brought up anything about their family's history. But now, standing in front of this mysterious mansion, Lena felt that everything she had known was a lie. The photo Eva had sent her, the one with the woman who looked so much like Lena, there was no denying that something was calling her to this place. With a deep breath, Lena pushed the door open. The heavy wooden door creaked as it slowly moved, revealing a dark hallway. Dust covered everything, and the smell of old wood and forgotten memories filled the air. The place felt ancient, as if time had paused here and refused to move on. The walls were lined with portraits of people Lena didn't recognize, their eyes staring down at her as she stepped inside. The floor beneath her feet was cold, and every step echoed in the silence. Ava walked in behind her, and the door creaked closed. "There's no turning back now," she whispered. Lena glanced over her shoulder, her unease growing. "What is this place? Why am I here?" Ava gave her a soft smile, though there was a hint of sadness in her eyes. "This house has been in your family for generations. It holds the answers to everything you've ever wondered about yourself. Your mother never told you, but you're not like other people, Lena. You're not just her daughter." Lena's heart skipped a beat. "What do you mean?" "I don't understand." Ava took a step closer, her voice steady but filled with weight. "The woman in the photo, the one who looks like you, is part of your past. She was your great-grandmother. She lived in this house and she made a promise that now falls to you." Lena's mind spun. "What kind of promise?" Ava's gaze softened and she took a deep breath before speaking again. "A promise to protect something ancient. Something that should have been forgotten but wasn't." Lena felt a chill run down her spine. "What do you mean, protect? What was so dangerous?" Ava stepped forward and motioned for Lena to follow her down the hallway. "Come with me and I'll show you." Lena followed, though every instinct in her told her to turn around and leave. But she didn't. Something about Ava's calm presence kept her grounded. She couldn't explain it, but she trusted her. They reached the end of the hallway, where a grand staircase spiraled upward into the dark. Ava led Lena up the stairs, the floor creaking beneath their feet. At the top of the stairs was a large wooden door. It didn't look any different from the other doors, but something about it made Lena's heart race. Ava reached for the door handle. This is where it all began. With a slow turn, the door creaked open. The room was vast, filled with old furniture covered in dust, but it was the center of the room that caught Lena's attention. In the middle was an enormous stone pedestal covered in symbols Lena couldn't understand. There was an object resting on top of the pedestal, an old ornate box. It was carved with intricate designs, and though it was old, it gleamed faintly in the dim light of the room. Ava walked toward it, her fingers gently brushing the box's surface. "This is what your great-grandmother protected. This is the object your family has been guarding for centuries." Lena stepped forward, feeling the pull of the box. "What is it?" Ava turned to face her. "This box holds the key to something powerful. Something that was sealed away long ago. Your bloodline was chosen to guard it, but now it's time for you to decide if you want to keep it sealed or open it." Lena's heart pounded in her chest. "What happens if I open it?" Ava's expression grew serious. "The power inside could change everything. It could change you. It could give you abilities beyond anything you can imagine. But it comes at a price. Once it's opened, there's no going back. And if you don't open it, the power will remain dormant, waiting for another to come along who will." Lena stared at the box, her fingers twitching as if drawn to it by some invisible force. The weight of her family's secret of her own unknown past felt heavier than ever. "Why me?" Lena asked quietly. "Why do I have to be the one?" Ava's gaze softened. "Because it's in your blood, Lena. You are the heir to this power. It's your destiny, whether you like it or not." Lena stood frozen, her mind swirling with everything Ava had just told her. She had always felt like something was missing in her life, like she was destined for something greater. But now, standing before this ancient box, she wasn't sure if she was ready to accept the truth. What if she wasn't strong enough to handle whatever was inside? Ava reached out and placed a hand on Lena's shoulder. "You don't have to decide right away. But I can tell you this. Once you walk away, you can never come back to this life. Your old life. You'll be changed. You'll be someone else." Lena's heart raced in her chest. She glanced at the box, then back at Ava. "What's inside it? What's the power?" Ava's voice dropped to a whisper. "It's an ancient magic, passed down through the bloodlines. It's tied to the very forces that shape our world. You can use it to do good, or you can let it consume you." Lena took a step back. The fear in her heart mixed with a strange thrill. She had always felt different, like she was meant for something more, and now here it was, standing in front of her. The answer to everything. But she didn't know if she was ready to face the consequences. "I don't know if I can do this," she whispered. Ava smiled softly. "You don't have to decide yet, Lena, but remember, your mother made her choice long ago. She kept the power sealed away. But you have a choice. What will you do?" The question hung in the air like a storm waiting to break. Lena's future, her destiny, was in her hands. And in that moment, she realized that no matter what choice she made, her life would never be the same again. The box shimmered in the dim light, and Lena's fingers twitched toward it. But just before she could reach it, she heard a voice, her mother's voice, calling out from the hallway. "Lena, don't!" Lena froze, her hand inches from the box. Her heart sank. She knew that this moment would change everything. But was she ready?